these cowards do not want to put themselves into danger, but they do like the mantle of hero. So they create this comic book talk about standing up and fighting back. Like, think about, and by the way, most of this is women, which is insane.
I mentioned this the other day, sort of tongue in cheek, but I actually do think it's a real dynamic. I don't think any of these people are having sex.
Yes.
I really don't.
Yes, Adam Carolla, tell me more about what you think about other people's sex life. So that's MEGYN Kelly, a very serious commentator. With commentary like that, it's so surprising that she flamed out on the big networks. It's so weird that that didn't work out for her. But anyway, so they're not having enough sex, and also they're cowards just talking, even though the thing that infuriates MEGYN Kelly and Adam Carolla is that they're in the streets protesting against a paramilitary force that has already murdered multiple people. Adam Carolla, that's not cowardly. That's braver than anything I've ever seen you do. You realize that you are commenting from a studio about how all these people who are putting their bodies on the line to defend their neighbors and strangers, people they don't even know, are out there potentially being maced and flashbanged and having tear gas and all that stuff that you are commenting on from your comfy, cushy, air-conditioned studio. And then because you just get bored of all that, delving into their sex life, I suppose. And that said, look, if MEGYN Kelly is gonna be talking about people's sex life, I guess I prefer her commentary about ICE to her defending men wanting to sleep with 15-year-olds as not technically being pedophiles. This is better, I suppose. But Jordan, what do you make of it?
It's just weird. And that's why I thought that line during the 2024 campaign from Walz as a catch-all for where the right has shifted culturally was a good one. And it was a massive mistake to just stop him from repeating it. Whatever, for a later election autopsy, but it was right. And you see it here yet again. Why is that your thought? You're talking about people being kidnapped. You're talking about people being assaulted, being murdered, being deported, being detained despite being a US citizen. Aren't you, isn't this your whole thing? You hate big government. You hate government overreach. And you have US citizens in some cases being held, assaulted, detained. We've seen numerous just in Minneapolis, just in the past week, and it's happening across the country. And you're worried about whether or not the protesters are getting laid? Well, what are you doing here? That's so weird. That is bizarre. You have a problem. Maybe you should go to a therapist, but why is that something you're worried about?
Yeah, no, it is so, especially considering on the other side of those protests are these pathetic little half men who are so desperate to feel big and strong and respected. And my God, if a woman doesn't immediately bow down to them, they lose their minds and fall into a murderous rage. But it's the women who are being weird and emotional. Very strange, but MEGYN Kelly is the ultimate pick me, and she knows what she needs to say to have these MAGA men continue, at least for a little while, to accept her, because she is terrified that as far as she has already fallen in terms of media, she could still fall even further. And so she has to do this pathetic groveling, attacking other women, constantly attacking other women to get these right-wing men to accept her. It is a pathetic, disgusting way to live your life, but that's what she does. And we have more of her in this clip.
It's not coincidental that all these women are obese and unattractive with multiple piercings, no makeup, skin issues. That, like, I'm sorry, but if you're having positive interactions with men where like you're going to bed with them and they're treating you well and they're, you're enjoying it and you feel the euphoria that comes after that, you're not going out there and looking at all these men as the devil enemies who you want to hurt and kill and stop. And same for the guys.
Yeah, that, look, as Jordan said, that is just deeply weird. That does not make any sense whatsoever. Maybe they're so fulfilled in their own personal lives that they feel emotionally, mentally, psychologically freed up to demonstrate, to protect other people, to advance larger causes. And again, by the way, Megyn Kelly, when your party is being taken over by the Nick Fuenteses of the world, the people who say there's nothing gayer than having sex with a woman, I don't think we need your advice about our own sex lives. Why don't you police your own side of the aisle? But this is what they're saying. They think this is compelling. And by the way, it's a good read, Jordan, of her audience, because again, she knows what they want to hear. The guys who listen to her want her to attack these women. They constantly want to be told that these women are ugly and undesirable. That makes them feel better about the brutality. It definitely is the tactic they've used on Renee Nicole Good and her wife, claiming that they're lesbians, so for some reason their lives aren't as worthwhile. And we see this all over the place. And I agree, they gotta bring back the weird smear because there is more and more evidence every single day of it. But more thoughts, what do you think?
I mean, just speaking personally, it's much more attractive if a woman is out there fighting for something she believes in and that causes justice than somebody who's doing whatever this is. Like, you want to turn a blind eye to people being beaten up by cops, by federal agents in the street, being killed. All right, that's unattractive. I don't understand this obsession with the left's like sex life, with their relationships, with how they view authority. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're in a different field, but from comments like this to their maddening obsession with trans people's genitalia and what locker rooms they use, what sports they can play, how they conduct their lives. Again, this is a very weird obsession, and it shows just how warped the right has become on issues of culture.
100%. If you were personally satisfied, and I don't care if Adam Carolla is having sex as long as I don't have to think about it. I don't care if Megyn Kelly is having sex as long as I don't have to think about it. But if you were, you would not be constantly thinking about this. It would not be the thing that drives your life. But for them, it is. So let's go to a related sort of commentary. Will Cain, again, another way of making this not about the brutality and all of that, but trying to make it about something else misogynistic and weird and homophobic. Take a look.
Now this comes in this press conference today, as we're getting new witness video of Renee Good before the shooting. She can be seen in her vehicle blocking agents for several minutes, even dancing to the tune of her own car horn. You know, all the behavior of a legal observer. There's a weird kind of smugness, by the way, in the way that some of these liberal white women interact with authority. Most guys learn early in life that every confrontation has a sort of escalation chain. A joke, a push, an argument can eventually turn to violence. We spend a lifetime reading the signs, knowing when we're getting close, knowing when to pull back, knowing when we're on the edge of violence. These protesters, they seem completely oblivious, or they think they have a hall pass to the possibility that blocking cops or using their cars as barricades could end violently, tragically, but violently.
Okay, so bearing in mind that he does look like a guy who probably got punched in the face a lot growing up.
Don't forget, Noble Mobile is saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back.
Dude, you're talking about her dancing to a horn? And you're trying to imply that what, she should have expected that would then result in her being shot? By the way, the comparison you're making is to, hey, when I was in 6th grade, I learned not to get bitch slapped by somebody. She's dealing with an ICE agent. They're not supposed to act like kids on a playground. They're supposed to be trained. But again, they betray what they know these forces to actually be. If you thought that they were serious law enforcement, well-trained, just doing their job, you would not be talking about how women need to bow down and not be smug lest you be shot in the face. But if you actually believe that they are the secret police, the paramilitary force, the Trump brown shirts that they 100% are right now, then yeah, you might talk about them that way. As if they're total loose cannons that could erupt into violence at any moment. And don't you dare have a smug smile on your face for 1 second, or you could be shot by them. But Will Cain understands who they are, Jordan. That's what it feels like to me.
I mean, we covered it on Indisputable today, and maybe some viewers have seen the video, but there was a woman in Minneapolis who was waiting to cross the street. There was an ICE vehicle at the red light waiting to turn right. And because she wasn't going through the crosswalk fast enough, again, we're talking about Minneapolis in January, where it is icy as hell. Of course, you're going to walk slow. They got out, both of them, the driver and the passenger, got out of their vehicle and started shooting her and others with rubber bullets. How does she de-escalate in that situation when they're psychopaths? The problem is not how people respond to these violent animals. It's how they avoid them and how we ultimately shut this entire thing down.
Yeah, no, 100%. And there should be charges, there should be investigations. It should not be enough. Look, pathetic men like Will Cain would just tell you, just submit, just bow down to the man in the uniform instantly, ahead of time. If you see him coming around the corner, definitely bow down. That's no way to live. It's no way for an American to live. It's no way for a man to live. They are utterly pathetic, and it is performative, submissive masculinity that should be beneath all of us. But unfortunately, it's become the norm on the right.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.